Direct it, make it, make it, make it.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 3 of Connected. For those of you that are just joining us on this episode, we do this every Monday at 11 a.m. sharp Pacific Standard Time. So man, I'm here hanging. I was actually supposed to be in Miami this week. I was going to feature a guest, but luckily we moved that back. So my schedule changed a little bit. So next week you can join us, and I will have a good friend of mine by the name of Seth, who actually does sound and monitors for Kanye West. Real cool dude. Has a lot of information to offer, so that'll be great for you guys. So for those of you that are just tuning in, let me break down the show for you a little bit. This show is pretty much a show that, first of all, doesn't exist anywhere else. This show kind of gets you in the realms and prep for things that you love to do, whether it's music, filming, broadcasting, recording. This is the one show that'll get you connected in ways like no other, meaning that you have access to job opportunities that nobody else has access to. You get detailed information to these job opportunities that no one has. So it's a real cool show, and really this show is about being connected and allowing you to feel like there's a personal type of experience going on. That's what we like to focus on. So with that being said, we're going to move to the fun part of the show, which is our 5 grind ops. So this is a part of the show where it's real crucial for you guys to jot down and take down all the information. So get your pens, your pads. If you got your laptop with you, this is something you definitely want to make sure you have all the info to. And keep in mind, throughout the show or towards the end of the show, you're going to be able to apply for these jobs, and there'll be a link on your right-hand side. But you got to stick with me. All right. So here we go. Here's our first grind op of the morning. This is cinematography part-time. This is in film. This is to create, shoot, and edit marketing and promotional videos on a weekly basis for a financial consultancy company. And this is based out of Miami, Florida. I can give you a little bit more information on that. It's an incredible opportunity for anyone with the sound design experience to move into the video game market. So this is in the video game market. Candidate will have any amount of sound design experience and will be tasked with creating high quality audio content for various product development, including sound effects and dialogue. They will collaborate with a large sound team to help create sonically rich and eerily satisfying content. That's really cool. I know for me, when it comes to sound designing and finding sounds, making sounds, tweaking sounds in the creative world, songwriting and producing, you can get lost into it. It can be very fun. But what you like to do is create for what it is what the content lends itself to. So you kind of want to pick your sounds, your placement, how you're tweaking. So that can be a really, really cool opportunity. I love sound designing. Has a lot to do with what I do as far as creating. So there you go. That's grind op 1. We're going to move on to grind op number 2. Let's go here. Grind op 2, this is in radio. Radio board operator, full-time, entry-level position for Radio 1, control timing of programs, and perform on-air traffic, weather, and news announcements. This is in Philadelphia, PA. So I can give you a little bit more info on that. Full-time board operator required for the Radio 1 network. That's a huge network. Controls timing of programs, off-air support, monitors and updates weather, traffic, and news reports. This is perfect for someone looking for their first position in radio with a view to join a great establishment and grow. So that sounds like that one comes with a bit experience under your belt. You know, you're talking about controls, timing of programs, off-air support, monitors and updates, weather, traffic and news reports. So you know that can be a crucial gig as far as, you know, what your resume is looking like. You definitely want to have experience in that field. That sounds like an opportunity where you get in and you seize the moment and you perform well. All right, we're going to move on to job op number 3. This is in film. This is videographer for travel-based web series, pre-production in New York City, then a year spent traveling the world, passport required. And this is in New York City, worldwide. Okay, let me give you a little bit of info on that one. So they're looking for a videographer to be a part of their team for the next year. Their year will be spent traveling the world for an entire year, shooting the entire way. Downtime will be spent helping with the creative aspects of content, as well as starting edits for the show. Travel starts in June, so you definitely got to have your passport valid for this one. It's required. All costs are covered. Unit travel starts. Pre-production will take place in New York, New York. This sounds like a really fun gig. I know for me, just traveling along with music and, producing and songwriting and performing is incredibly fun for me. One of the things you got to be prepared for is just the day-to-day go, making sure you got your itinerary covered so you're not showing up late in lobbies, then missing your flights. That's crucial in this world. Being on time is definitely beneficial in this world when you're traveling, dealing with companies. So looks like it's a new travel-based web series. So you'll be shooting a lot on the go, on the fly. See what else I can pull from. The entire year will be spent traveling. So make sure you got your miles and your information locked in with whatever airline they choose to go with. That's a good thing to have. I can tell you that firsthand just by traveling all the time. Let's see. Travel starts in June. So definitely jot that down. That's crucial for you to know. It starts in June. So if you plan on applying for this job, you want to make sure that your year at starting point of June is looking open for you to just, be available for this. All costs are covered, so that's great. Usually that means that you're not coming out of the pocket for anything. You'll probably have per diem throughout the day. I think the per diem rate is $35 a day, so that's good for you to know. That covers your, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so you're not paying for anything out of your own pocket. Looking to spend with the creative aspects of content. So you'll actually be having some creative input on creating the content. I'm not sure what the visuals will actually be or what the targeted concept is going to be, but it's good for you to know that, you also need to be up on your editing game. And I'm assuming that you'll be editing your via computer, your laptop, or what have you. So make sure all your gear is intact. Make sure you're ready for the gig. Okay, we're going to move on to job op 4. This is in recording, my favorite. Podcast, audio engineering. Produce, edit, and engineer 2 shows a week for successful bi-weekly podcast series. This is in Salt Lake City, Utah. All right, let me dive into some information for you on that. Let's see. New York. Okay, so this position is viable for anyone. That's what it's telling me here. From an audio and broadcasting background, successful bi-weekly podcast is looking for an audio engineer to produce, engineer, and edit 2 shows a week. This will be great for anyone looking to broaden their engineering horizons, and in particular, anyone who is interested in starting or growing their own podcasting platform. So that's actually really cool for those of you that are into the podcasting world, being able to start your own thing. It's bi-weekly. Audio engineer, so you got to make sure it doesn't really give me details as to what type of engineering, but it's audio, so it's in the field of sound. So you definitely want to know your ins and outs there on the sound side. Edit 2 shows a week, so you'll be editing as well. And it's open to anyone. So I'm assuming anyone that has experience in engineering and editing and podcasts. So that's a great one because it's available to anyone. So definitely take a stab at that. Definitely apply for that. Sounds pretty fun. Okay, we're going to move on to our last grind op of the day. This is in film. Cinematographer. We got a lot of film. I'm going to have to hunt down a film buddy of mine to come in and chat with you guys. This is in film cinematography part-time. Create, shoot, and edit marketing and promotional videos on a weekly basis for a financial consultants company. Oh, cool. And this is out in Miami, Florida. So let's see here. Let me give you some info on this one. It's for a finance consultancy company looking for somebody young and fresh to be able to come in and help create marketing and promotional videos for the company to predominantly be used on social media and their website. That kind of sounds to me like you'll probably be shooting quick video teasers, kind of like what they do for Instagram. You have your 15-second segments, and it's just constant content, that they're feeding you to promote the company, help drive initiatives, marketing, and whatnot. They're looking for someone who can come in 2 to 3 days a week and create a revolving door of content for them on a weekly basis. Okay, so that's pretty much what I just said to you guys, shooting tons of content, uploading it, getting it out to the market. The candidate needs to be a one-stop shop. They need to create, shoot, and edit all of the content. So actually, that's kind of cool because I actually dealt with a guy who was on tour with us. His name is Jordan Wright. Check him out. He does incredible work. I believe that's his social media handle too, is Jordan Wright, Taylor Cut Films. So this dude was able to shoot. I mean, he was shooting so much content, whether it was rehearsal, sound check, us on the bus driving into the next city. This guy was able to literally shoot, edit, and have it ready in, I would say, less than 20 to 30 minutes. I mean, he was extremely fast, and it was pretty much the same concept, right? Just shooting a bunch of content, uploading, and pretty much promoting what it is we had going on, whether it was, getting people excited about coming out to the show that night, keeping people up to speed with our daily traveling, kind of bringing them in on an intimate experience. And pretty much for this consultancy company, it sounds like they're looking to do the same thing. They just want to feed the machine with content, obviously, about their company and what they got going on to help push things along. So guys, that is our 5 top grind ops of the week. Now remember, if you remember what I said in the part of the show, if you stick with us, I'm going to give you the vital information on how to apply for these jobs. So I'm going to say right about now, if you look to the right side of your screen, you'll see a link. On that link, you definitely want to click it because there you can apply, put all your information, and have access to these job opportunities. And you got a head start. Keep in mind, these job opportunities, in the world of music, film, broadcasting, audio engineering, we all know each other, so it's a very, very closed, tight circuit. So the great thing is, being through the show, you apply for these jobs. These are jobs that pretty much give you a head start that nobody has access to. So make sure you click on that link and apply. So we're going to move to the best part of this show to me, which is taking y'all's questions, because I feel like that's kind of how we really engage with each other and stay connected. So I'm going to read off a couple of the first questions. Well, the key question was, how do I apply for these jobs? Like I said, right side of the screen, click on that link. It's all the info you need. Let's see. This is from Tina. Maybe he'll address the chat when he is done. Tina, I'm here. What's up? What you got for me? Didn't see a question. Gerald Stepp. Let's see. Okay, Danny Belknap. Is there anything in sports? Not yet. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I'm sure as our show expands, we'll definitely be doing sports, culinary, a couple other things. I know this is something that through the Recording Connection makes possible. So shouts out to the Recording Connection. I'm sure we'll be expanding on the show more and more as we go. Let's see. What other questions do we have? What does pay your dues mean? Pay your dues in this generation doesn't mean anything. However, in the school I came from, paying your dues is pretty much, climbing the ropes, climbing the ladder, but also being prepared, gaining your experience, being a fly on the wall, knowing when to talk, knowing when not to talk, and really just being a sponge. They always say a sponge doesn't talk, a sponge absorbs. So that's really the process of paying your dues, working your way up. Doesn't matter how talented you are, doesn't matter what you think you're entitled to. You have to have experience at what you do. And most of all, you got to learn how to be a people's person. You got to network, you got to talk. There's no one specific thing. So paying your dues, it's great because it prepares you. It takes you along that journey so that when you do get in the environment, you're ready to deliver. And that's really what this is all about. It's not just the job opportunities. It's more or less mentoring and prepping you guys for these opportunities, because a lot of you are on your way to paying your dues, and a lot of you are going through the process. So absolutely, paying your dues is very, very crucial. Is a crucial piece to this part of the world that we're in. All right, next question. This is Purvis Beach. What about musician gigs? I'm sure we're definitely gonna be having a couple of those coming up. We've been actually having a lot of audio engineering gigs that have been really, really great gigs. So I'm sure we're gonna start diving into the musicianship aspect of things too, which would honestly be fun for me too, because I am a musician and we all know what it's like to be looking for the gigs. So let's see here. What another question? This is Marquise Gray. What is a good way to market your music via SoundCloud, social media, Recording Connection, and other websites? Really? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you have YouTube, you have all these, I mean, you listed them there. You have all the platforms there. I think it's just a matter of putting your music out there and putting the story out there and constantly feeding these platforms with your content, a bio, your resume, what you've done, what you got going on. Just constantly feed the platforms. SoundCloud, AudioMac, there's another Spotify. I mean, get your music out there. That's the best way to do it. There's no specific should I do. It's the platforms are there, so it's really about just utilizing those platforms and flooding that market with who you are and letting people experience your music. That's the best way. Let's see if I can find a really, really good question here. Okay, this one's from Jennifer. How much experience, I lost it. How much experience do you need for the one, sorry guys, I got interrupted by Kling. How much experience do you need for the 1-year travel gig? Let's see, let me go back to that. That gig, I believe, was, this one was in New York. This was for a videographer. This looks like you're going to need a decent amount of experience because you're going to be on the go and you're going to be creating various content on the fly and doing edit on the fly as you go. So I would say you definitely want to have some type of experience on your belt, maybe on your resume, company or previous gig that you've had that kind of can fall on the line that they can pretty much look at and say, okay, cool, this person might be great for this gig. So yeah, that's to you, Jennifer. How do you pick out a good stage name for this profession? And that's from Felicia. A good stage name, picking out a good stage name is really about your personality and who you want the people connect to. Everybody has a different thing. Everybody has a different personality. I always say that, picking a good name is about, the longevity, it feeling like it's not just going to go away tomorrow, but a name that's going to be here for a long period of time. So something that you don't get tired of and say, oh man, I wish I would have went with a different name. And now you got to, now you got to get a new name. And then people got to say, well, what happened? I thought so I would say just, get a name that best suits your personality and what your style is, what your vibe is, whether you're a singer, whether you're an artist, whether you're a songwriter, it can be anything, but mainly get a name that best suits you and your personality. Okay, I'm going to take on one last question. Here we go. This is from Tina. As a DJ, how do you get bookings in major venues? Bookings in major venues, you definitely got to have a resume for that. You got to have some fire going on somewhere. And that really comes from just doing a lot of the smaller venues in the areas. And I always tell people, people always ask, well, how do I get to this gig or that gig, and where do I need to be? Really, the best way to do is find the spots that are really cracking in your area or your hometown, and take advantage and try to get yourself embedded in those environments, because then it builds up the familiarity of you, and people start to look, to go to these spots looking for you, wondering when you're spinning, when's the next gig, when can they hear you again. And that kind of allows you to kind of prep up and move up to the bigger venues. The bigger venues want to know, they want to see what spots you've been rocking as a DJ. That's just out the gate. They want to see what you've been doing and what your following is. They like to tie it a lot to your social media platform and how many followers you got. That's kind of how they gauge it these days too. Okay, I'm gonna take one last question, guys. Let's see here. I'm gonna try to pick a good one. Give me a second. Let's see here. I'm sifting through. Bear with me. Hold on. This is from Desiree. Do we stay in touch with our RRC rep regarding if we get the job internship or not? Yes, you definitely want to keep in touch with the Recording Connection. They are the hub for all of this. They are the ones who make this happen. So that website, recordingconnection.com, you definitely want to make sure you're in tune with everything they got going there, because this is how it all speaks to each other. They are the platform. So you definitely, for those of you with your questions, make sure you log on to the recordingconnection.com. You will make sure. All right, guys, that's the today.